welcome to today's Big Brother 18 updates and spoilers. Our house guest of the day is Karen Patterson. Clap your damn hands. Karen sent her dollar in the mail with a nice little letter. Thank you so much. I love it. I love it. I love it. Alright, if you guys want to be house guest of the day, check out our Patreon link in the info box below, or send us some fan mail. We have our P.O. box also in the info. Alright, so yesterday, Paulie nominated Tiffany and Natalie for eviction, and there was a major shitstorm before that. If you guys haven't seen yesterday's spoiler, I highly recommend pausing this video, watching that one, and then coming back, because there was a lot going on. So they also had the Roadkill competition yesterday, which Tiffany won. What? It's almost too good to be true, just the drama here. This week is shaping up to be insane. So apparently the competition had something to do with like air fresheners and like, I don't know, air fresheners. But anyway, the feeds come back, and immediately you can tell everyone knows that either Tiffany or Frank won this Roadkill. And I guess the clue to that is that Tiffany is not walking around like, ah! Alright, so then there was a lot of speculation about who's going to go up on the block. So some of the names that were thrown around a lot, we've got Corey, Nicole, Davon. They think it's going to be a big player. So then Nicole, Zakiya, and Paulie were up in the HOH room, and Zakiya was just like, I think it's gonna be me. What? Zakiya, are you even playing? You know what? I'm not trying to diss her gameplay, because if I was in the house, I would want to lay low for as long as possible too. But like, seriously, you think you're going up on the block? Get out of here. Get your life. So then Paulie's like, it doesn't matter who she puts up, who freaking cares, because she's never gonna beat me. She just did. Seriously though, she just beat your ass in that Roadkill. But Paulie is just like going on and on about how he's gonna win like every competition ever in life. He's a winner. So then Paulie was talking about how he wants to make Tiffany feel alone this week. He wants her to be isolated and freaking just like break her. So then downstairs, Tiffany busts in on Frank and Bridget talking in the Tokyo bedroom, and this part was all whispered, but I'm not going to whisper it because it's annoying. But she was basically like, you promise we're good? If you're effing me, you're effing yourself, because I'm a number for you. And Frank's just like, yo, chill, we're good, we good. So then, I mean, obviously she told them that she won, and they're just like, yay. So then Tiffany's saying Paulie is so cocky, she just wants to punch him in the face. There's a lot of sibling rivalry going on here. Those two aren't even freaking siblings with each other, but just the fact that they're both siblings, they're ready to tear each other apart. So then I love how after she said that, Tiffany was sure to say, Frank, you're freaking cocky too, but I'm using you right now, so it's all good. So they were all laughing about that. I thought it was pretty funny. So then they were talking about who she should put up this week, and they've pretty much narrowed it down to Corey or Nicole. They want to go after that showmance, and they feel like if they take out Corey or Nicole, that group is going to be hurting. So then they're trying to figure out like who's the better option, who are they more likely to get votes against. They're thinking maybe they can pull in James and Natalie. You never know. Minnie, what are you doing? So then after that, the feeds go down for like 20-ish minutes. And apparently there was this crazy ass Paulie and Tiffany confrontation, because we heard about it after. And I really am angry that we did not get to see this. So it sounds like, okay, so Tiffany was talking to Zakiya in the have-not room. She was kind of talking about what happened. So it sounds like Paulie went up to Tiffany and was just like, you're not going to beat me in any competitions. Like, I'm calm, cool, and collected. Is he in the calm, cool, collective? But he was like, I'm made to do these competitions and to win, so like, you're gonna lose, you're going home, everybody sees that you're playing Vanessa's game. So it sounds like it was pretty aggressive, and Tiffany was just like, what's the deal, bruh? You're afraid of a girl? Like, what the hell? I'm not my sister, I'm my own person, get out of my face. So I'm hoping we're gonna see that on the show, since we were robbed of it on the feeds. So then Tiffany is telling Zakiya, relax, I didn't put up you or any of the girls. She said that she made a strategic move, and if people don't like it, it's too bad. So then Zakiya is trying to like try to pull her back in a little bit. She's just like, you know that Frank's been targeting you this whole time, right? She's saying don't trust him. And Tiffany's like, all of you guys have been freaking keeping me in the dark for 2 weeks now. I'm over it. So then she brings up how she had a great relationship with Paulie, you know, that first week, and then he flipped the script on her when he made that 5-person alliance. Oh, shit! So, of course, she's referring to that Showmans plus Davon alliance, and Zakia's just playing dumb. She's like, what alliance? What are you talking about? You know what she's talking about, girl. But Tiffany's like, yeah, everybody in the house knows about it. She doesn't name the names, but she's like, everybody knows about it. Oh, crap. Zakia was peeing in her pants! So then it was time for the Roadkill nomination ceremony. Tiffany anonymously nominated Corey. Oh my god. So then Nicole and company are assuring him, like, oh, you're safe. Like, don't worry about it. Tiffany's going home. It's fine. So then Tiffany starts making some moves. She was talking to Frank, James, and Bridget in the Tokyo room. And she's like, guys, let's just leave the past in the past. We need numbers right now. We need to, like, pull it together and get this done. Let's get rid of Corey. So she's telling them Paulie thinks that he's running this house right now. And she's like, Frank, listen up. Paulie wanted me to win HOH this week so that I could take you out. And James is there, and he's like, yeah, that happened. That's for real. He's confirming this. So then Tiffany's like, Corey is Paulie's right-hand man. Let's freaking take him out. So Frank is like, all right, let's do it. So he's like, if I win the power veto, I will pull you off of the block. Oh my god! So he's like really pumped up. He's like, wouldn't that be hilarious? And just like imagine the looks on everyone's faces if Frank uses the veto on Tiffany. It would be hilarious, but there's a lot of factors that would be playing into that. But anyway, Tiffany and James go in the next room to chat alone, and she's like, she's trying to pull James closer because she sees that still James wants to be loyal to the original 8-pack, but I mean, it doesn't exist anymore. So she's telling James, Paulie, Zakia, Nicole, and Corey, they're all just using you, okay? They want your vote. And if you win any competitions, they want to be safe. So you are at the bottom of that group, sir. So then she's like, oh, they told me that they all want to get rid of Natalie so that they will have full control over you. Oh, snap. He was pissed about that. Speaking of Natalie, too, James was frustrated all yesterday because Natalie is like, I'm all alone. Hello! James is just like, yeah, he's upset about that. He doesn't want a repeat of what happened last season with Meg. So he's, you know, he's very sensitive about that. Alright, we're gonna come back to that. But now let's talk about Corey's genius plan. So he was talking to Natalie in the storage room, and obviously Corey's up on the block now, so he's gonna be playing in that POV, and he's like, Natalie, if I win the power veto, I might just go ahead and use it on you instead of myself. Do you promise to vote out Tiffany if I do that? And Natalie's like, yeah, of course. Like, whatever you want. Just save me. Thanks, bye. So Corey is like, I don't want to use it on myself and then have somebody else go up in my place and then they're a bigger target and they go home. He's obviously talking about Nicole. And he's like, if I use it on you, Paulie will control who the next nominee is, and he's saying that Paulie will put up somebody who could potentially flip the vote, meaning like Davon. And then if Corey uses it on himself, of course, the Roadkill winner is going to be picking the renom, so he doesn't want that. He doesn't even know that it's Tiffany. He's thinking that it's Frank. So then Corey and Frank are chatting in the safari room, and this pretty hilarious. So Frank is like asking him, who do you think won the Roadkill? Obviously we know that Frank knows it was Tiffany, but Corey's just like, I don't know, like, I don't know, man. Yeah, so then Frank is like, do you think it was me? And Corey's like, no. What? No. Yeah, he does. Okay, but he's pretending he doesn't think it's Frank. So then Frank is like, well, do you think it's Tiffany? And Corey is just very, very adamant that there is no way that Tiffany could have won this competition. He's also implying that she's like overweight, and he keeps referring to her as like a big girl. What the frig planet are you living on? But anyway, Corey starts ranting about Tiffany, and he's like, we freaking saved her ass. I let her talk to me last week. Ah! I cannot believe he just said that. But anyway, they start talking about the Paulie-Tiffany confrontation that we didn't get to see, and Corey's like, yeah, Tiffany, she really showed her true colors in that, and Frank's just like, wait, what? That whole thing made Paulie look awful. He looks like a bully in that situation, so like, nah, bruh. Paulie was not good in that. So then Corey is talking about the veto with Frank, and he tells him about his plan to potentially use the POV on Natalie, and Frank is like, really? And then Corey's like, I'm just kidding, I was just kidding. What? That's so stupid, right? He wasn't kidding. Okay, so then Natalie and James finally chat, and James hears the golden sentence that he's been waiting for. Natalie's like, you're the only person that I have, and I got put up on the block, and Bronte's not here anymore, and she was so sad all day because James was talking to Tiffany, and she doesn't trust Tiffany, Frank, or Bridget, so she didn't want to, like, get involved in that, and she was like, I really needed you. Okay, so then, what's his name? I was going to say Frank. James is just like, I'm not going to just stop talking to Tiffany because all these people are shunning her. Like, that's mean and it's not cool. And Natalie's like, well, what am I going to do because I keep getting cornered by people and I don't know what to say. Natalie needs to start playing the game. That's all I can say, because she's there treating it like friggin' summer camp. Alright, so then last night the have-nots got to eat at midnight, and I'm just going to say this, they did not bother waking Tiffany up from her nap when it was time to eat. That's not very nice. So then Day and James, a little while later, were chatting in the London room, and Day's like, I just want to let you know, I have not been giving Nicole as much information anymore, because clearly she has latched on to Corey. It's game over. She's going to pick Corey over us every time. And James is like, yes, I agree. So then Day is like, and for that reason, I'm out. She said she's ready to get rid of Corey this week. She's cool with it. But that would mean another week with Tiffany. Day is not sure that she wants to do that. And James is like, look, this is a win-win for us if we evict Corey. We could possibly get Nicole back, which I don't see happening because Nicole is going to be pissed. But he's like, there's a chance we could get Nicole back. Also, Tiffany is not after us. And if she stays, she's like a giant meat shield in front of us. Everybody's going to be targeting her. So it'll keep them occupied. We'll be cool. All right. Meanwhile, Nicole, Michelle, and Zakiya are chatting. And Nicole is like, she's worried that Day is going to flip the vote and get rid of Corey this week. So it's exactly what Day and James were talking about. So Nicole's like, I'm going to be livid and I will cry if Corey goes home this week. Oh, just stop, Nicole. I want to root for you so bad and you make it impossible. So then they're trying to figure out ways to prevent the flip from happening. They know that Day and James are pretty close, so they're like, we need to get James back with us fully. So they're like, how do we get to James? We get Natalie. So they're like, we're going to pull Natalie in, and hopefully that will bring James in too. We'll see about that. So then Tiffany, Frank, and Bridget had a late night chat, and Tiffany is just telling them more and more about how everybody wanted them out last week, and Frank is having a really hard time believing that Paulie is against him. He's like, there's no way that Paulie could be that good of a liar. Oh, he could. And Tiffany tells him, like, I'm sorry, but Paulie is totally playing you. You need to wake up. So then Tiffany leaves. Frank and Bridget are trying to figure out who they could possibly get to flip this week to vote out Corey. So Frank is like, well, maybe I could get Michelle, warn her of the dangers of working with two showmances. Like, you don't want to be that fifth wheel. And then Frank was like, talking about how he wants to pull together this Island of Misfit Toys alliance. Yay, Rudolph! But he's like, yeah, we'll get the two old guys, meaning him and James, Bridget with the bum ankle, Tiffany and Day, the two I don't know, crazies. I don't know exactly what he called them, but he was basically implying that they're unstable. And then Natalie, who's just freaking twirling around all over this house. It's an interesting idea. I think it could work, but it's going to take some convincing to get them in there. Especially with, well, maybe not so much with Natalie. If James is in on it, if James is like, we're doing this, she'd probably be like, okay. So this morning, they had the have-not reveal. James and Natalie are have-nots for the week because they were the first full team to be out of the HOH competition. These freaking have-nots are living the life, I'm telling you. The extra food this week, baked beans, baguettes, and basil. Are you freaking kidding me? I could live on baguettes. How is that abundant? Whatever. So Natalie's like, oh man, big brother, I was hoping I would freaking lose weight this week, but you give us bread. So yeah. Then they had the Power Veto player draw. So of course we've got Paulie, Natalie, Tiffany, and Corey playing. And then the 2 extra players are Day and Paul. So there's a lot of speculation that this was going to be the dice competition. So then all those people were practicing throughout the day, trying to prepare for that. And then other than that, there wasn't really too much going on because they were really trying to focus on that. But they did have the Power Veto competition, and Corey won. What is gonna happen now? So I'm pretty sure that Corey's gonna end up using it on himself. But who is Tiffany gonna put up? It's gonna be interesting. I don't know. And, excuse me, we just ate. This hasn't been confirmed. But I don't think that it was the dice competition that they were all practicing for. I'm not sure what it was, but maybe it was. I don't know. But leave it in the comments if you know, and let me know what you guys think about what's going on. Woo! It's crazy. So until tomorrow, much love.
Edit.